The following videos have some double doors with double drop bar setups in them, and we just wanted to show you a couple key points before we get into those videos and how to force them. The first thing when you're dealing with double doors is you got to identify the primary door. We want to make that what we're forcing and what we're prying on. Secondary doors a lot of times have locks into the floor and into the header. They also have a lip on the back side of them, and so if you go and you try to force the secondary door, you're actually prying against more locks and you're prying against both doors at the same time because of that lip. If we could just treat the secondary door as an actual wall and don't even worry about the bolt patterns on it, then we can move over and make the primary door our main mission and worry about that later once we get the primary door open. So we look at this one, it's very easy to identify. I've got a key in the knob lock, a latch guard, I've got damage on the ground where they might drag dollies in and out all day long. It's very easy to see that primary door. So when I go up to attack this one, I'm going to go ahead and drive my Halligan in and give the primary door a good pry before I do anything else. I want to make sure those drop bars are actually in place and securing the door, and that they're not weak bars that I can overcome with the Halligan. Worst case, I move over to attack the bolt patterns on the lock side of the door. And that's the key, is doing those lock side bolts first, because it instantly starts loosening that primary door up. And it might cause a big enough gap that you can get a tool in the door and actually knock those bars out of place. It also gives you more leverage when you're prying on those drop bars once those are out of the system. If that doesn't get your door open, then that's when we actually move over to the hinge side bolts and we finish the operation by taking those out of the system. Now we don't want to do that in reverse order. If you attack the hinge side bolts first, it doesn't free anything up for your prying. You're still prying against those lock side bolts. So take the lock side ones, go back to conventional, give it another good pry, and then if you have to, you move back over to the hinge side bolts and take them all the way out.
Okay, skin a little bit.
There we go.
Hey! One more tap there.
Capture that right there, buddy. Can you knock that bar out? Good, yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to use it. Give me a little spread. No, that's it.
Okay.
One more. Here we go.
You can get that with a rough hook.
Hold your tool steady. Give me some gap.
Okay, outward swing commercial metal doors. Primary lock is on the right hand side. We want to always make sure we identify our primary door. If we come up to this door and we see a doorknob, it's really easy to identify the primary door. If it doesn't have anything on the outside, then we can come up, we can rattle this thing, see if we can tell which one's fixed high and low. That's how you know you have a secondary door. The primary doors are usually the least secure because it's what they use in and out all day long, so they don't have to open the whole thing up. We want to identify the primary door because if you drive your Halligan in on a secondary door, one, you can hit the lip on the back side of the door, and the other thing is if you manage to get your Halligan around the back side, when you start prying on a secondary door, you're not only prying on it, you're prying on the primary door at the same time and pulling everything out. So we're focusing on this, and we're basically treating this like a wall. So I come up, I size it up, I got a primary lock down here, just a key in the knob. I've got a drop bar pattern, it looks like. They've reinforced these with large plates on the outside of the door. And then I have another set that mirrors itself all the way across, which looks like they have a drop bar low on this door also. That's all we see from the outside, so we'll give it a go from there. Ready, man? Hit! Hit! Stop! Hit! Hit! Stop! Hit! Hit! Drive! Stop! Nope. It's cut here. Here. Hit! Hit! Stop! Right. There you go. Hit that right there. So this one here is a really good example of the difference between shaving the heads off of carriage bolts like we did on the top one because of the metal plate on the outside, versus doing a plunge cut into the door and cutting the shaft of the carriage bolts, allowing the mount to free up completely. You can see the bottom mount there is completely out of the system, and will pull away from the door real easily when we pry, versus the one on the top is still holding on. And the reason it's holding on is when you shave the heads of carriage bolts, it leaves a little bit of that square material that you'll see at the top of a carriage bolt, and it's just enough material to hang on in that door skin and not pull completely through, depending on the size of holes that they've drilled. So with that, it was enough to prevent us from prying and overcoming it right out of the door. It's a good example of why my preference is to plunge versus shave, but at the same time, there's times you have to shave carriage bolt heads because the plates on the outside prevent you from getting the depth of going in and cutting those inside of the door. So worst case scenario, like you see here, you're not getting through, then we move on to the hinge side mount where we're feeling the resistance like we talked about in the beginning of this video, and we take that out of the system, and then it really doesn't matter. Now we've loosened it up enough that we can finish the operation.